It's time for the bottom line.
Bottom line.
It's also called the Terrible Twos, but especially the bottom line. This
Only
is
the
it.
bottom line.
Let's cut out all the banter. Nobody cares about our banter. Everybody knows it's called the Terrible Twos. Here we go. Here it comes. It's the final two questions of the show. Really the two most important questions. So here they come, fast and furious. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg.
Ryan T. Husk. Tililiu.
I knew you were going to say that.
I was going to say, what is your middle name? I wonder.
Ryan.
No. We should just make it a thing. Ryan Tyrannosaurus Rex Husk.
The T is for terrific.
The T is for terrorizing.
Yeah. But his middle name actually is Ryan.
Yeah.
Well, you just pulled the fun out of that for me.
Yeah, the T is actually my first name. Michael knows all the secrets. I can't keep anything.
Tililiu Ryan Husk.
You're really going to get people to think that it's that. They're going to try to spell. People actually have tried to spell that out in the live chat. But anyway, yes, it's Thierry Gilles. So that's the one time anybody's ever going to hear it. Michael, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate the first episode of Fantasy Island? Hungry Christine / Mel Loves Ruby.
So, as I mentioned before, I liked the Mel Loves Ruby story, and I hated the Hungry Christine story. So right there, those kind of even each other out. And so if it was just that, I would just give it a 5. But I also mentioned that there's like half of a story that was like all right. So because of that, it gets bumped up to a 5.5.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to drag it down a tad.
I thought you were going to drag it down a tad.
I'll give it a 5.5. Maybe it deserves like a 5.2, but I'll give it a 5.5 just to be generous.
Very generous of you.
You're too nice.
Jackie, well, we're about to find out. Jackie, are you too nice? What would you give it on a scale of 1 to 10?
I think I'm less nice. And it's not because of the Elena thing. I do, the Mel Loves Ruby storyline, I actually really, really enjoyed, even though there were some like little things that obviously were like, if you wanted to poke all the holes in the story, go for it. Like it's all throughout. It's consistent with everything else. But yeah, I'd probably give this more like a 4.5. For me, the Hungry Christine episode or part story, I felt was a little like they executed it wrong. It's kind of like come to the island and eat your, abusive stepfather and have a great time. Like,
yum.
Like, yum, delicious. That's what we want. Like, nah. Like, I mean, I'm glad that she was able to figure that out, but like, but it required like eating the thing that she was doing that was wrong, like for herself. Not like, I eat all the time. I love eating. Eating's like my favorite pastime, but it was just how it was presented. I felt was in a way just kind of wrong, and especially like, I get to eat my dad, and like I know they were kind of subtly building this up that she was gonna eat her dad. Like I'm hungry for something, but I can't put my finger on it. It's like, yeah, okay, that's okay, but it is just, to me, it was too much. If it was just the Mel Loves Ruby, I actually would have given this show probably a 7. That's how much I did not like the Christine thing. And then of course, like the Elena is like kind of an uninteresting character. Like she's got some parts that are interesting about her, but then it kind of gets, me personally, gets sucked out with the romantic implications that the writers did to make her more interesting, and I don't enjoy that at all. That's a me thing. So
All right. Well,
Ryan?
Here comes the me thing. Boy, oh boy, you are in for a treat.
Boy.
You guys are in for a treat.
Okay.
Because I'm about to tell you what I think. Okay, throughout the show, I mean, again, it was such a mixed bag. Like, I actually was in the first couple minutes, you immediately know what the show's about. That's a big plus for me. You are immediately introduced to the structure of the show. Again, another big plus for me. You are shown an example of what the show is going to be about. That first episode was a perfect example. You know what to expect in episode 27 because it's going to be like this. It's going to be, what is that called? A third episode pilot. Okay. Cool.
That far. Yeah.
Funny. Big marks on all those things for me. I thought oh God, I feel terrible saying this. I felt like the acting was subpar.
Yeah.
Not every single which way, but overall I was just like, oh no. I kind of felt embarrassed anyway. And there were some things that were okay, some good elements, obviously the location, the elaborate locations and the elaborate sets and all that. I was like, wow, they put a lot of money into this show. The execution and the writing didn't quite do it for me. So it felt like, even with all those huge marks, it felt like a 4 to me. Even with those huge marks. But then at the end, when it gave me what I've been begging for, which was an extra character and a very good way of introducing her, by the way, I thought it was excellent because then you also get an introduction to a new character and kind of a new beginning. So you get the new beginning at the same time as you get an example of what every episode's can be like. So that was fantastic. It was all capital letters in my notes there. And that pushed it up to a 4.5 only. But then I felt like a dick. I'm like, how can this huge thing that I've been clamoring for only push up to a 4.5? So final answer 4.7. I'm giving that because they gave me what I wanted. 4.7 final answer. But that's
very generous.
Very generous.
Thank you. Otherwise, Jackie and I would have been neck and neck at 4.5.
See, I thought you would have given it a lower one because you're not a cannibal. Like Michael and I, we're cannibals, so we love that shit. But I figured you would have been 0.
I'm only an auto cannibal.
Yeah, but he eats his.
I'm cannibal by proxy.
But Michael, this is it. This is the big one. For the purposes of this podcast, we all had to watch the first episode of Fantasy Island. But now that the podcast is over and we're free to move about the internet, Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, of your own volition, would you watch the second episode? And why not?
It's a no for me. It's a no.
Okay.
Nope. That's it. No, not at all. No interest.
So it's not just a no. It's a no followed by interest. Okay. Well, Jackie, would you watch the second?
The only thing that I would want to watch in the second episode is really just Ruby's story. The only thing that I found interesting that I would want to follow, but everything else, no, not really. I wouldn't watch it. Unfortunately, if I did happen to watch it, it would only be because of Ruby. Like, she was like, another thing too, she was like the only actress that I thought was like really, really good at her part. Like, I mean, I don't know. That's just me. But yeah, it was, that would be a no for me. I would not watch this again.
Ruby Soho.
I will also say no. Again, I'll say no a second time.
For the guy that gave it a 5.5 is acting like it was so horrible.
You gave it the highest rating out of the 3.
Don't try to convince us you hated it.
I'm saying no, especially because there was no smoke monster.
Okay, lost. Got it. Okay, well, let me tell you guys I wouldn't. I wouldn't watch the second. Yeah. I would recommend if this is what people are looking for, this kind of episodic show, which I'm not even sure if it really fully works anymore in today's television. if people are looking for this kind of show, then that final twist that we've been talking about with Ruby almost made it worthwhile for them to almost made it to where I could recommend it to somebody who is looking for that. In this case, I might just be like, well, you might give this thing a try, but I would not recommend it. But again, it almost made up for that for me. But for me personally, I'm not interested in those kinds of shows, so it's an easy peasy no from me. And that's it, everybody. We did it. Yay! So if you'd like us to review a show of any kind, just say WTF and the show in the comments below. Michael, what is it? What's the thing I always forget to say?
I'm kind of interested actually to see if we review the Fantasy Island from 1977.
Yeah.
To see like if the format was the same or if it was a little bit different like I thought it was, or I'm kind of interested in that. Yeah.
So give it to us, guys. Give it to us.
So we say, tell us what to watch. WTF Fantasy Island 1977. WTF Bonzo and the Dog Bone. I don't know what shows are.
Or record yourself, just an audio recording of you going Fantasy Island, and send it to us on like Facebook or something. Just give us
WTF The Wrath of Khan.
All right, we got
it. TV show.
we got to move on. Here we go. We spent enough time on Fantasy Island. So thank you very much, Jackie. Everybody at home, make sure you click on the links below, and also click on that thumbs up button for us, and leave us a comment. Share this with your friends, and remember
subscribe button.
What Michael Kenyon Rosenberg always likes to say.
No, we say the podcast.
That's the thing I always forget.
This podcast.
You were supposed to remind me of the thing.
There was other things we had to say first.
This podcast was fantastic.
This podcast was like a fantasy.
Copycat.
Aw. This podcast was very real. Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, now please remember what Mr. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg always likes to say.
What I always say is, don't forget to register to be an organ donor with Donate Life America. And please don't forget to watch The First of Things, which is the new thing that I'm doing now with my hands.
And now, freeze frame. What? Karate.
So for anybody that's listening at home,
Mike, you're no fun.
Anybody that's listening can't see us freeze framing, so that's why we don't freeze frame.